on Rated Designs here, or Rated Creative, whatever you want to call me. I have a new tutorial once again, and today we're going to be going over making basically a motion blur effect, or giving something to look like it's actually in motion. I see a lot of people try to do this in ad work and in a lot of other, I guess, projects of theirs, and some people just don't really get the effect and how you can really show something that is in motion using very simple tools that are just in Photoshop that you really don't need to download, and are very just simple things that you'll need to do. So what I have for you guys right away is I have a little modeled plane that is a Blackbird, of course, and I kind of just set this whole environment up just because I feel like just so you guys understand where this, it's floating instead of actually just sitting on the, sitting in the middle of a 2D composition, which this is obviously a 3D object. So I kind of wanted to just set everything up, the lighting and everything for you as well. So the first thing I want to just say is that most people, what they'll do is they'll just duplicate and they'll go right into blur, motion blur, and this one, it's kind of coming 7 degree, and they'll just kind of do something to this effect. Hold on. I'm trying to get the angle 100% right here. Yeah, it's about 3 degrees. And then what they'll do is once they have a little bit of motion, they'll erase what they don't need, and then they'll kind of just turn the opacity down, which in the general scheme of things does work. But in real life, and really to try to capitalize on something like that, you also have to understand that in order to make something look like it's real in a digital program, you have to overemphasize certain things. I said that in my lighting tutorial, is you're trying to overemphasize things so your eyes automatically understand where things are coming from, where things are leaving. It just makes more sense. That's just how art is in general. So before we even start, I'm going to make a duplicate of this plane just in case I screw up a few times, and everybody should do that just so you know you can get perfect lighting in general. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to get a duplicate of the plane, and we're going to Gaussian blur. And now this Gaussian blur doesn't have to be, it could be a 1.9 pixel radius. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. Now of course I'm just going to kind of erase certain areas of this, and you can kind of see how I just have it so where they're just certain areas, and then in this area we can kind of just a quick gauge of where certain things are. Okay. And that's kind of, I guess, what we're going to keep. And of course, as you can see, it already kind of gives you a little bit more of a motion feel. And the reason I'm blurring this area is because when you're looking at something, your eyes, in order to take a split-second view of something, it's going to be blurred. And any photographer will tell you that if your shutter speed is not, quick enough, it's going to blur. And most people, when they look at things, you can't process, your brain can't process these things as fast as a camera or something like that. So this is just a very, very healthy tip for people like that. Secondly is, yes, we are going to go into our filter, blur, motion blur, and we are going to do the exact same thing I already have said. I am going to exaggerate a little bit more, and you can kind of eye it the way you'd like it. And that's kind of how I do, is I just kind of eye it, and I lower the opacity to where you see it, but you're not 100%. It's not like so evident that it's almost like something like this. When that kind of happens, it does show that it's in motion, but it's so fast to cut off. So you just kind of lower the opacity, and you can duplicate things and then erase this area with a bigger brush, and it kind of emphasizes it even more. you can just keep duplicating that type of thing, and of course it gives it that effect. But we're only going to just duplicate it once, I think. Alright, so after that you're already kind of seeing something that's in motion. Now here's where your brushes are your best friends here. One of the things that a lot of people will do, and I am a very big fan of this, is they will overemphasize what water vapor is. And for people that don't know what water vapor is, when a plane or something goes fast enough, it creates water vapor from the air on the wing being a certain temperature. It doesn't freeze, so it creates this long stream. That's why you'll see certain airplanes have that. So one of the things that I like to do is I take a soft brush and I kind of just create these lines. And they can be sporadic, they can be crazy, and something like that. And then I like to blur these just a little bit more, even though they already are blurred because it is a soft brush. And then what we're going to do is, of course, motion blur. Same thing, same speed, everything like that. Now you can lower the opacity on these, and of course we are going to erase, but sometimes, depending upon your composition, you're able to use a soft light, and you can already see how it kind of shows a little bit more of a blur effect. And you can see how up on more of the further part of the airplane, more towards the actual cockpit, you can see how it's white. And if you duplicate this and just kind of keep it normal, you can just subtly take that away, take that away, take that away, and then kind of just lower that. Now, another great tip I just learned to really execute your blurs perfectly is adding some sort of noise or something that's coming back on the outside, because something that was told to me or said to me is that you need to add some sort of noise or something, because the engines or something does give off a texture or something. So what I usually do is I'll use a grunge brush or something like that, and then what I do is I go filter, blur, motion blur. In this one, you're not going to want to motion blur too much. This is where you're going to use your eraser. And you can kind of give it either that, or you do an overlay. And overlay usually works a little bit better. I like to also add a few straggling ones. I think this will be a good one. Just to give it the real effect that this thing's moving, it's picking up some speed, and you're going to want to motion blur, something like that, and you can keep them keep them out over the front of the plane, just so you know that it keeps in motion. So basically the lesson here is, and if you wanted to know how I got it brighter, all I was doing was duplicating these just so they can, and they're set to overlay. But so that's basically the tutorial. A lot of people really don't understand the fact that you do need to, when you're blurring something, or sorry, when you're setting something in some sort of motion, sorry, I'm just kind of adding more to the back of the plane. But when you're setting something in motion, you do need to show what's going on around it as well, and it all needs to make sense. So, of course, you see that type of thing. Now, the background, of course, is not going to make sense because I just used it as a model. But if you were, you would you would have to blur this back area a little bit, just to give it more of a better look. But yeah, that's basic thing right now. It's something that I see so many people having problems with, and this should help. So yeah, if you have, all these tools, you can add them. If you don't have these spatter brushes or anything, a nice soft brush with some sort of scatter on it, I'll show you what to do. If you don't have anything like that, you can just take a nice, actually, sorry, we're not going to do a soft brush, we're going to do a hard brush. You're going to want to bring it down to about 10. Go to scatter or shape dynamic, size jitter, roundness jitter, and angle jitter all the way up. And you're just going to want to click all over the place, and you kind of get the same effect. And then you're just going to blur, do the same type of thing. It's all pretty much the same thing. I just, I tend to use brushes that I made or something, just because it's a lot more time beneficial and stuff like that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. For people that don't know the whole Red Creative stuff, there's so much more going on behind the scenes right now that we are working on. We will have like apparel and a lot of other things that are going to be coming our way, and your way as well. And it's just going to be a whole lot of fun, as well as being, working on it while I'm in school and stuff like that. So it's going to be absolutely, just amazing, especially with the set of guys that I have. And for people wondering if we're recruiting, we're not recruiting right this second. We will be checking very soon on picking up possibly a few people, maybe not. It doesn't, with our team, we're all so close that, like, in order to join, you need to be very, you need to fit the puzzle. And if you don't fit the puzzle, it's kind of tough. So just keep your eyes open and, keep supporting everything on Twitter, and you know what to do. Check out my Selfie if you need anything wise. And also, regarding the 80K pack, I come to the conclusion that I think I'm not going to release a pack into 100,000 subscribers. I know it's probably not what you want to hear. Reason is because I've released the graphics pack for every 10,000 for, I think, since 10K or something. And I really just want to make the best pack I possibly can, and right now I don't have enough resources that I am, allowed to give away right at this moment, and I'd rather just wait and give you guys the best once I get there, which I'm sure we could get there pretty damn soon if I keep staying active. But anyways, I've been rated, you guys have been amazing, and thanks again, guys.